What's up, guys? Ming the Merciless 93 here. We're in with part 4, PokerVIP.com, Global Poker. And Global Poker uses PayPal, and it's all over the United States of America. So I would suggest, if you guys want to play poker in the United States, has it use PayPal, and I believe they pay your fees for the withdrawals as well now. Get up in there. Raise it up with pocket fours. Looks like Big Mike's got 22 funky-ass dollars in front of him. Do we flop a set? No. Are we going to continuation bet? No. Why? Because this is a board texture where my opponents are going to call us at a relatively high frequency. It's a multi-way pot, and we're going to turn a set on the turn and lose to 6-7 or a flush. So if B-Dog bets, we have to call, and if he checks, we're definitely going to bet. There's a case to be made for raising here, but I think that calling is also a decent play. Because there's a ton of hands that beat us here, and he's going to be betting the river a lot of the time anyway. Now, obviously, that card is not all that great, but yeah, we're probably going to be stuck calling a bet just because we're so high up in our range. Yeah, we're beat here a really high percent of the time. Like, I would say that his only bluff's really going to be ace of spades, maybe like king of spades, but I don't even know if he's going to call or bluff with that many. We do have to pay him off, though, just because we don't know what he's capable of doing bluff-wise. But as you can see, guys, that's why we only call the turn, and that's why we only call the river. Because even though you have a set, you're not always going to have the best hand there when a card completes so big of a portion of the deck. Such a big portion of the deck improves on that turn card that we're just kind of stuck. And again, he doesn't really have as many bluffs as he has value bets, nowhere near. Like, he's not going to have proportionately enough bluffs. But it is poker, and people do sometimes over-bluff, and they do sometimes value bet more than they should. So, I mean, I would assume a player like this is not going to be doing those things, just from what we've seen. The only thing we've really seen that would be any bit light at all was a 3-bet with king-queen offsuit early in the session. So, I mean, again, it's only been really straightforward with things. And a lot of you might say, well, hey, we should be raising the turn, but not really, because we could be beat by all those flushes and all those straights, and if we get re-raised on the turn, then we're in a nightmare scenario where we have a bluff catcher if we get re-raised. So that's bad news. So we call the turn, and then on the river, it does open up more of his bluffs to be value bets in the sense that now there's a 4 straight on that board, but maybe he bluffs the 4 straight some percent, maybe he over bluffs, it's hard to say. Overall, you know, you're going to have to call some combos there. A better call would be something like, if we're going for like game theory calls, then obviously blocking a spade and then blocking 2 pairs or a set would be good. But if the majority of his betting range is going to be a spade, then all of our bluff catchers should have a spade. We just called there because from an absolute hand strength point of view, you know, he could definitely be value betting some 2 pairs or something, so we kind of have to call. But for the most part, I think you're going to be beat there a really high percent of the time. Just going to have to pay the man his money sometimes. Well, we pretty much lost the minimum on that hand. There's definitely a world where we can fold the river if your opponent's not ever value betting 2 pair, and if your opponent is never bluffing with spade X combos. For sure. Like, you're behind his value range 100%. So we're just hoping that he's value betting wide or bluffing enough. If those things aren't happening, then we can just get the hell out of there. This guy's got a short stack. Other players have a short stack. We have a pair, but I don't really want to isolate in this early of a position, and I don't really want to limp it in this early of a position. It just opens up profitable scenarios for my opponents behind to take advantage of that by isolating us and by 3-betting us, and, you know, other short stack bros just decreasing the value of our set, and we probably don't have a ton of fold equity, and, you know, it's just not a great spot. Doesn't matter if we flopped a 4 here. You certainly don't want to be results oriented. It's not an amazing scenario. King 4 is going to be a fold. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz, because, well, because there's nothing else on TV. If there was something else on TV, we'd be off to see somebody else. Nah, who watches TV anymore in this day and age? Nobody. Nobody. Not I, not you. TV these days is like, what's on Netflix and what's on YouTube. That's it. Cable companies are going to have to try new strategies to try to get people to watch TV. You know, maybe just put up just naked people Just nudity. That's it. Just a channel full of nudity. Doesn't have to be anything steamy going on. Just adults, nude, on a screen. That's it. Kind of like that fireplace. You know when like Netflix puts up the Yule log or whatever, and it's just a fireplace, just a sizzling and a crackling all through the midnight hour? Yeah, just one of those, but just nude people just kind of laying around. Oh, come on. People would watch that shit. Who are you kidding? You have a value bet. Jack 4-3 rainbow. 6 combinations of sets. Nobody should have pocket jacks. So we have the best hand here really high percent of the time. Obviously, we're losing to like 3-4 suited. There's not a lot of 2-pair combos here. There's not a lot of sets. There are some straight draws. But mostly, we just have the best hand. All right. That's going to be a checking combination over here with the 9-deuce offsuit. And we're just going to get the hell out of Dodge. I'm not sure about this name, Flip for Stacks. You kind of have to have a stack to be flipping for stacks. I guess technically any stack size works. But nonetheless. Oh. And we have Ace-King. It's funny, we haven't been dealt Ace-King in a long time. It's been a long time, man. No Ace-Kings. Who knew? Oh, we're going to isolate that. And if Flip raises, we're going to raise that too as well. We're going to raise it to living hell up. Isolate. I kind of assumed that Slow Poker is going to call. He does. Pretty decent board texture for us. Value bet. 6 sets. A bunch of flush draws and straight draws. I think we have to go with this here against him. He's a short stacker. They overplay 1 pair. If he has a set, he's getting all the money anyway. Not much else to say about it, really. If he's got us, he's got us. He could just have like a pair of 8s. He could have Ace-7. He could have 5-6. He could have clubs. And he has King-9. That's going to wrap it up. That's what we call drawing dead. Interesting spot here with 2 overcards and a 10 of spades. I'm just going to make the conservative fold. Whoa, our stack is 47-47. That's pretty cool. Dude, he rebought full. Maybe he's serious now. He's serious. We have a pair of 3s. We're going to be raising that up. What the hell's going on here? Definitely a call. Getting a very good price with our suited jack in the small blind. We have second pair and a backdoor flush draw. We do beat some 7x combos, so we're certainly going to check and call a bet here. Most cases. Now our stacks are pretty deep over here with Life's Good, so it would be really good to flop a set in this spot. Denver fan makes his standard bet size, which is always 20 cents. He's always betting like a 6th pot or 8th pot or a 12th pot. Might as well be smoking pot. $7. Well, there's a flush draw, so now we can check call again with our bluff catcher. And we don't get anything here, so we're just going to check and get the hell out of Dodge. You could see bet this board texture. It's not unreasonable, but with stacks being deep, they get to float more. They get to bluff raise a good bit more. We know how tight Life's Good is. And I would assume that we're essentially going to be beat by a queen a lot. Remember, tech doesn't bluff, so we're calling here for implied odds. The highest implied odds we're going to have here are going to be on a heart or a 7, but not a jack as frequently. Because remember, he doesn't bluff from what we've seen. So I'd assume we're just going to be losing. We're going to have to fold this river to a big bet. He probably has queen-king here. Yeah. We know we never have the best hand there. We're literally just calling for implied odds. So we think on a 7 or we think on a heart. maybe on a jack. He could definitely have queen jack there. And just, you know, he's got a queen, he's got top pair, so he's happy with his hand. Mm-hmm. Three-two suited. It is a nice hand. It's a pretty hand. It's a pretty hand. We have the threes blocked, and maybe Big Mike has aces, right? Was he the razor pre-flop here? Or no, it was a limper. All right, well, no one really has aces that often. So you can basically say that pocket fours and then one combination of threes. Now definitely only one combination of aces. But if it's a limp pot, the big blind can have 16 combinations of 2-5. He'd just assume that he would bet it somewhere. Kind of a weird spot with tens. We're definitely going to get it in against either of these guys stack-wise, so we're going to be playing for stacks here. Maybe we'll be flipping for stacks here with big flipsta. We'll see if slow poker has a raise on the button in his range. Doesn't look like it. All right, we're going to go ahead and isolate. Slow poker is just slowly losing all of those chips. He just had 10. He bought in for 20. We'll take it. Never want action, ladies and gentlemen. Always just want to take it down with no resistance. Too early of a position to be playing 6-7 suited. We could definitely play it if it were on the button. We could 3-bet it. We could even 3-bet it in this position, but there's not much of a reason to. B-Dog doesn't seem to be giving too many stacks away. So anytime you have an opponent, even if you think you have an edge on them post-flop, you think there's spots that you can find to get a win rate against them, that doesn't mean that you need to go out of your way to battle with them, because the win rate is generally going to be relatively small if they're not giving you a lot of action, or you guys aren't playing a lot of big pots, you don't have a very big edge. You're just going to have a better edge when you're attacking the weaker players and focusing on playing with them. I mean, I don't mind 3-betting in a tough game with 6-7 suited there some percent of the time. If against, you want to have a bit of board coverage, you want to have some balance against a specific opponent, you guys battle all the time. I mean, there's just not much of an incentive for the most part otherwise, especially in really loose games where people are going to be over-flatting 3-bets too frequently. That's certainly a thing that happens. We'll go ahead and limp the button. 9-5 suited, not all that playable, but we know slow poker's dumping his stack quite a bit. I don't want to keep isolating and have him start to get wild and start re-raising or anything like that. I mean, it would be okay to isolate here for sure. Certainly could. I'm just going to choose to limp. Kind of forces the other guys to play too if they just want to kind of fold. This hand wouldn't mind some multi-way action. We'll go ahead and call here. Yeah, I'm mostly isolating though, but on occasion we'll be limping. Mixed strategy. Snuffy raises though. That's pretty curious, man. I don't see Snuffy raising a lot. Life's good. You can't fold now, you nit. Did he seriously fold? No, he didn't. Okay, good. I was going to say, what the hell is wrong? You call yourself a poker player. All right. Let's see a check from Snuffy. Definitely a board where he's going to be c-betting. We have a backdoor flush draw on second pair. We'd like to see a turn card. We could bet here. Betting here actually makes quite a bit of sense. Couple of reasons. I don't always expect Snuffy to fold, but I do like to fold the equity of the other hands. We have a backdoor flush draw. Our pair is sometimes good. If we know that slow poker's playing straightforwardly and life's good is going to be real tight and just continue when he has a good hand, then it's basically just us against Snuffy. If we check back, we give those other hands all that equity, so we might win the pot right now, which is what happened, which is the best result. And then we also protect our equity from the times that they have overcards. Here, this is kind of a weird spot. We're going to call because we have top pair, but it's not all that amazing because we're not going to improve our hand. They're going to have better top pairs, and we don't have a redraw. And if a diamond hits, we're screwed. If an ace or a 4 or a 5 hit, we're not super happy. For the most part, we're not all that happy. So I think this is a spot where you could easily end up just folding top pair in a multi-way pot. We just kind of donked it off because of the price we're getting, but I kind of do just like folding there a bit on the nitty side, just because we're not really going to play well on future streets. You know that this guy check raises when he has top pair. This is definitely a board where we could bet to protect our hand because we have it quite a bit, and he, you know, he's going to have like all those overcards like king, queen, all that stuff. So I think betting is just better than checking, but I'm certainly prepared to be check folding because I know that he does raise. We did see him min raise like top pair, no kicker, and call it off. And if he just calls there, and we know that he's raising with top pair, then it might mean that we could triple barrel him, like he just has draws in second pair or worse. But it's hard to say that that's going to be the case exactly. And we'll just go ahead and limp here with the 10-8 offsuit. And we get a pair along with a straight draw, but it's not a very strong hand for the most part. We can certainly call 20 cents. Yeah. 7 of spades isn't an out. Often top pair isn't good. Granted, when Mike is betting 20 cents, he could just have a 6, he could have a 10. Most of the time it's going to be a made hand, so I'd kind of assume that he just has a 6, an 8, or a 9. And we have enough equity here mostly to call still. These guys are kind of low rolling it. We're just going to have to donk the 40 cents off. If they got it better, they got it better. Donking it off. Yep. Yep. And this is going to be a check with the 6-7 offsuit in the big blind. Not much going on here on the Jack 9-4 with 2 clubs. Check and get the hell out of Dodge. And yeah, we're just done. We're not going to be bluffing here, ladies and gentlemen. There's too many one-pair hands that will call us, even though we only have 7 high. Sometimes you just got to give up. Now, it looks like we might have been able to win in that exact instance, but for the most part, you're going to get called by one pair quite a bit, especially when there's more people in the pot. Okay, and we have a pair of 8s on the button. Yes, indeed. Oh, a raise. I guess we're just going to flat here. Hopefully flop a set. We do. We're going to get it all in. We're going to shove over a c-bet. Although flat calling is okay, there's a lot of draws out here. And this is a board where he doesn't... Yeah, I think we're just going to check back and let him hit an ace or a king. You could say, well, there's a lot of draws out there, you probably want to bet. When he's checking like this, he just doesn't have much, you know? I almost am tempted to just check again. Because he just doesn't really have that many hands that'll pay us off. But maybe we'll get called by ace-king. Ugh. Gross. Sometimes they just don't have it. They just, you know that they just don't ever have anything. And you can just kind of narrow their range down to overcards. Because pairs would have bet. And draws sometimes check, sometimes bet. Back it up into ace queen of diamonds. We'll go ahead and raise it up again. Yeah, checking on the turn again wouldn't have been that bad. I'm not really worried about flush draws. Mostly they're going to bet there somewhere. Not really worried about much of anything, really. Probably just should have checked and let him hit an ace on the river. All right. Flipping for stacks. And, of course, with no backdoor draw here, 1 over card, we are just going to get out of dodge. These guys are both short. And there's not much we can really do. Homeboy's all in. He's going to take that one down. We're going to fold the 2-4 offsuit. We are going to raise it up with ace-10 offsuit. You could go either way with this. This is definitely a hand where if the table's crazy and the table's active, you can make a case for just folding. You could fold, you can raise, but you can't limp. You get dealt ace-king again. We'll raise that one up. And in a 6-way pot, we'll just check fold our ace-10. Oh, ace-10. Ace-10, ace-10, you saucy little tart. We're going to raise it up. 6-8, suited style. Never going to complain about getting that fold. Queen deuce offsuit in the folding range. And we're going to check the ace-9. A little bit too weak to be isolating out of position. This board texture we will not be continuing. Even versus that sizing, we're done. Not enough equity. We have a pair of 6s, interestingly enough. So this is kind of a weird spot against flip for stacks. We could on one hand 3-bet and get it in, which I think is what we're going to do. But it's also a spot where you could just make a case for folding. You don't really want to be flatting with him only having $6. I think we'll just go ahead and 3-bet and get it in. If he's got a bigger pair, so be it. We'll be flipping against ace-king a lot. And it looks like we're going to lose this flip. That's okay. Not much else going on over here, guys. Queen 5-7 with 2 hearts. Eight, 9 is now a straight, but we have a blocker to that. Looks like they're just passively checking it down. Not too much action. Yeah, so to touch on combinatorics again, they're extremely important, and they're probably the most important thing that you could get good at to help you get better at poker, to help your hand reading and everything else. You want to get better at equity, you want to get better at bluffing, you want to get better at value betting, you want to get better at everything poker. Combinatorics is what you want to learn. I'm not sure, in this day and age, like I've always used Poker Stove just because I'm the most comfortable with it, but I do think that Poker Equilabs has a combination counter, so it shows you how many combos when you're monkeying around with ranges and everything. That's got to be pretty beneficial. But once you get used to counting them, that's the first step. They're easy to count. You just multiply the number of each card left in the deck. So on Queen, 10, 6, how many ace queens are there? 12. There's 3 queens and 4 aces. 12. How many suited ace queens are there? Well, the queen of diamonds is out there, so there's 3 other combos. Ace queen of each of those other suits that are not diamonds. Start to weight ranges, start to be able to calculate combos. You can find spots where your opponent has too many bluffs. You find spots where your opponent doesn't have enough value bets, doesn't have enough bluffs, whatever it is. Whatever they have too much or too little of, you can figure that shit out. Same thing with you. It really is the way to get... It's just probably the biggest thing that can benefit your poker game, to get good at combinatorics. We could go either way with this. We're going to defend the big blind. Board texture definitely is on the dicey side. And when he's just potting it with a small stack like that, we're just gonna get out of here. Not enough equity just to roll it on in there with the king of spades. Hope it works out. Shovel it on in there and hope for the best. Nope. We'll definitely 3-bet flip if he raises. He doesn't. And we have a pretty easy value bet here. You can also make a case for checking there. You'll definitely check some combos. If your opponent is very active with flop raises, then you're going to certainly check more combos in that spot of Jack X, because when you get raised in that spot, they definitely have a lot of 4s, and it's pretty difficult for us to call it down to the river. Pretty difficult for the most part. I think we just go ahead and call in this spot with bottom pair for the price. If a 3 hits or a king hits, we're the best hand a good bit. But we know that tech doesn't bluff. So that's the other reason. If we hit a 3, we have probably got some pretty decent implied odds here. Ace-8 offsuit's going to be a fold. If this was suited, we could 3-bet it, but we'll just probably fold to the button raise here. We're going to be 3-betting quite a bit anyway. Oop, Jack on the river. Georgia. All right, we got 9-10 offsuit. This guy's limping with 80 cents, so we're just going to fold. Not much to say about that, really. We got a 4-way pot, half pot bet from B-Dog over here. Got to assume that's a value heavy. We also have the 8 of spades blocking some flush draws. Just assume he's got king X or better. Value combos, baby. Value combos. I'm not talking about a cheap snack at the gas station. I'm talking about a value-oriented range that doesn't contain enough bluffs. In a lot of cases. Not always. I can't say that that's exactly the case for that player. As far as 20 no limit tables go on this site, that's a pretty good table, you know? We got $56 guy, $46 guy, but let's be honest. Life's Good is not really gambling it up. They're just not playing any hands. Knitting it up, looking to reach out and stack somebody. But hey, this is going to be the end of the 4th part for this video series. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Combinatorics, combinatorics, combinatorics. It relates to everything that you want to get good at for poker. Double check that out. Check out Global Poker. And hey, never stop improving. Because once you give up, you're done. That's it. You stagnate. I'm going to catch you guys later after we play this ace jack. We're going to play this ace jack. I'm not going to give up. We're not going to give up. I just say no, don't give up because I know that it's daunting. Like combinatorics are pretty confusing, and they definitely take a lot of work to get good at using, and confusing, using, bruising, losing, boozing. I'm rhyming, but I'm choosing. All right, I'm out, guys. Have a good one. Have a good one.